What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. A few weeks ago, we did a bit of a first look here at Kaelin Poulin as well as her company LadyBoss Weight Loss and just gave kind of an overview of the products she sells, some of the reviews, some of the complaints, stuff like that, and based on that first look, gave a bit of a judgment on how legit her company actually is. In that video, I pointed out some positive things about her company, but I also raised some red flags. And at the end of it, I kind of felt a little bit indifferent. There were some things that made me cautious and kind of made it so if I were looking at this company as a consumer, I would have some worries, I would have some hesitation on purchasing from her. But overall, I kind of came to the conclusion of, just be aware of these things. If you're into it, go for it, but not really my cup of tea. Since filming that video though, I've done a bit more digging and looking at Kaelin as a person. I have some things I want to talk about as a bit of a follow-up and just to give you more information if you are a potential customer of LadyBoss Weight Loss. So let's go ahead and get into it. Two big parts of Kaelin's story are that she and her fiance at the time, Brandon, started the company with $1,000 that they had in savings, and it was like their emergency fund. This was their last ditch. We got to do something. Let's be bold. And so they, according to stories that they tell, went into that savings and kind of risked it all to start LadyBoss Weight Loss. And then the other part is that she figured out how to lose 65 pounds, and now she wants to help other women do the same. I feel like those are really inspiring stories on a surface level, but I have qualms about how legitimate each of those different stories are and how much of the truth is actually coming forward. For example, if we look at an article written about Kaelin and Brandon from Forbes, it says Brandon and Kaelin Poulin met in 2013 while working for a weight loss company. What is not stated in this article is that it was VISALUS or VISALUS. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's spelled VISALUS, sometimes with a hyphen in between, sometimes not. In any case, it's a multi-level marketing company. So if you're anti-multi-level marketing, anti-network marketing, that might be important to you. I think it's a big part of the story because someone who is involved in and successful in a multi-level marketing company might not be the most concerned with ethical business practices. It's completely possible that Kaelin was in VISALUS, realized it was a problem, and stepped away, but she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't ever talk about her time there, which is concerning to me. Back to the article though. They married less than 2 years later when they decided to take an entrepreneurial leap together and launch their own business. They were struggling to afford groceries and make rent. After dipping into their emergency stash of $1,000, they launched LadyBoss, an e-commerce site offering a weight loss system for women that spans supplements, merchandise, and digital services. Nearly 4 years later, it has grown to a multi-million-dollar business projected to cross $30 million in sales this year, and it's one of the fastest-growing e-commerce weight loss companies in the world. Succeeding in e-commerce is a feat in itself. A widely cited statistic reports that 80% of e-commerce startups fail, which makes the Poulin story all the more remarkable. I sat down with them to find out how they went from broke to 8 figures in 3 years. So LadyBoss was founded in 2014, which means this article is from 2017. I can only assume they've sold a lot more product and brought in a lot more money since the article was written, because ever since I did that first look, her ads are everywhere. And so many of you have talked about seeing her ads and ordering the samples and stuff like that. So we can only imagine how much more money they've made from LadyBoss. Now, I won't go through this entire article, but just the first point that they talk about, know your customer like yourself, is very interesting to me because, again, they don't talk about the fact that they were in a multi-level marketing company. It says, the Poulins had a head start with market research. They had the benefit of over 4 years of intimately getting to know their target customers throughout their work history. Quote, we were in the trenches with our customers and involved in their lives for a long time with our previous work. Because a massive part of multi-level marketing is being on social media, DMing people, talking to them, posting, responding to messages, posting stories, being in Facebook groups, all that stuff. Huge parts of MLMs, which it would explain why they were in the trenches with their customers, especially because Kaelin was a customer and she lost 65 pounds because of VISALUS or VISALUS, however you say it. But you know, she's not going to tell us that. We have to find it out for ourselves. Back to the article. We hung out in the same online forums they were in, we worked out at the gyms they went to, ate at the places they ate, and listened to what they listened to. Moreover, Kaelin Poulin was her target customer before her own weight loss journey that inspired her to launch LadyBoss. Thoroughly understanding the particular interests and behaviors of their target customers makes it easier to market to them. I mean, straight up, absolutely. There are things about LadyBoss that very much remind me of MLMs. The fact, first and foremost, that so many of y'all have said that if you were in the Facebook group or if you purchased something from LadyBoss, they came back and tried to get you to buy more or pressure you into more and really made themselves somewhat of a constant in your life, which is a tactic very similar to ones used by recruiters essentially in MLMs, you know, the distributors. Their real job title should probably just be recruiter because that's how they make their money. And so while people aren't being recruited to like work for or sell LadyBoss, they're being constantly contacted to buy more product and to get involved in more challenges and to really make like the LadyBoss company their lifestyle, which honestly I think is kind of a really smart marketing tactic to make it so your brand is somebody's life. It's someone's lifestyle. It is what they think about. It is what they live. It is what they do. Like they are a lady boss. They got the t-shirt, the water bottle, the supplements. You can really make yourself a huge part of their life if you are constantly in contact with them. But it's also a little bit manipulative, I think, and kind of shady and sneaky. I mean, nobody wants to be badgered into making more purchases or spending more money. And so, yeah, it's great you might get more sales doing this, but I also, I question the ethicality of it. Now on to the second story that Kaelin tells the world, which was her kind of aha moment of when she realized that she wanted to lose weight and it was something that she actually had to do in her eyes. This is from womanfitness.net, and the question is, when did you realize that you needed to lose weight? Kaelin's response was, my dad died when I was 16, and after that I spiraled out of control, using food to cope with my depression. I was eating fast food twice a day, drinking 10 Cokes a day, sitting in front of the TV every night, eating a tub of cookie dough before bed. I had zero self-confidence, I couldn't stand looking in the mirror, and I pretended like nothing bothered me while I hid in my dorm room scarfing down bags of gummy bears and iced cookies. The final straw was when I was at a family gathering for Christmas and my grandma had just made a fresh batch of snickerdoodle cookies. I was getting ready to reach for my 6th one when my grandma smacked my hand and said, "Now Kaelin, do you really think you need that cookie?" I was super shocked, hurt, and also mortified that she just said that in front of my entire family. But when I got home that night and was lying in bed thinking about what she said, and she was right. That was the moment when I decided that I wanted to be healthy. I didn't want food to control me any longer. I wanted to have my self-confidence. I wanted to love the woman I saw in the mirror. I wanted to change the relationship that I had with myself, so I started on my journey to lose the weight and learn to love myself in the process. There are a lot of elements within that story, but I think there are small parts that any person trying to get healthier or get more into fitness or lose weight can relate to. I feel very bad that she lost her dad. That is obviously a tragic thing. And I think that a lot of people can also relate to that. They can see themselves in that story. They had a personal loss that kind of threw their lives off kilter and maybe resulted in some depression, some weight gain, some unhealthy life choices. So people can identify with Kaelin in that way. There's also the being in college and gaining the freshman 15 and not feeling super confident, not feeling or looking like you did in high school while you're also dealing with this massive change of going to college, gaining more independence, and being responsible for your own life choices. Third element that people can identify with. grandma smacking your hand away and asking, do you really need that cookie? I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I personally have had a family member make a comment on how much I was eating and if I really needed any more of it. And it does not feel good. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. Like, anytime anybody makes a judgment on what or how much you're eating, you're going to feel self-conscious, but especially when it's like Christmas and your whole family's together and your grandma's there and she smacks your hand in front of everyone. That would be so embarrassing, so humiliating, and just disheartening to not only have doubts about yourself and feel insecure in your weight or your body, but then to know that other people are looking at you, validating those doubts that you have, validating those concerns. It's not just like, oh, well, I'm beautiful, it's just in my head and it's a confidence thing I need to work on. No, having your grandma smack your hand and say you don't need another cookie, I can see how that would validate in your head every bad thing that you thought about yourself. Because if somebody else is looking at you thinking that same thing, it makes it more true for you. It might not be true. You know, if somebody says something mean to you, it doesn't automatically make it the truth. But if you're already insecure about that thing, it's going to be a lot harder to gain your confidence back and get over it because now somebody else has put it into the world as well. So again, this is something that I think a lot of people can identify with, and it makes you want to be like Kaelin because you already see part of yourself in her. You heard that she lost 65 pounds. You want to get healthier if you're somebody interested in losing weight. And when you are choosing what company to buy from, I think feeling personally connected or invested in something is going to make you more likely to buy from them. Perfect example for me. I have been looking for a new water bottle. I have my big old cup right here. Thank you so much to my sister-in-law for sending it to me 2 Christmases ago. Like, I use this cup every day. It's great, but now that I have kids with me and I gotta carry a bunch of extra stuff and carry a baby out to the car, I only have 2 hands. And so with this, even though it's what I like to use, sometimes I'll just be like, oh, well, I'll leave my water bottle at home. I won't bring it with me, which is so unlike me because the amount of water I drink is insane. It's my favorite beverage other than coffee. I need to get a new water bottle that's maybe a little bit bigger and I don't have to fill up as often and I can bring it with me easily. Where did I buy a water bottle from? Hydro Jug. Why? People I saw on Instagram that I liked have hydro jugs, and I'm giving it a shot even though that's probably not a company I would have ever found on my own. I found it because people that I like use their products. And so it's the same with so many other things, especially when it comes to your body, your weight, your lifestyle. You are more likely to purchase from a company if you feel personally connected. And this story can connect with so many people. The only problem is that aha moment might not be super true. I think weight loss is a journey and you can have like multiple wake-up calls. You get into fitness, you get out, you get back in until you find something that works for you. And so this totally could have happened. But when giving interviews, this is the story that Kaelin tells, as opposed to the story that we are going to hear right now. Now, I'm not going to make us watch this whole 10-minute video because it's kind of unnecessary, but this is from February 15th, 2013 from a channel called Kaelin Scotty Banks. Kaelin's ex-fiance is named Scotty, and I think this is like their shared channel. The description on here is Kaelin Poulin, 1-star ambassador with VISALUS, shares her story about going from being a 21-year-old broke college student at prestigious Hanover College to graduating, not having to find a corporate job, and earning 5 figures a month by the age of 22.
Hi guys, I just want to take a few minutes out to share my story with you really quickly, physically and financially, and how I got here in the past 14 months. I actually got started on the challenge when I weighed in one morning, and I'm only 5'2", and weighed in at 180 pounds on the scale. Scotty, my fiance, actually weighed in at 178.5, and that was the moment that I knew I needed to do something about my weight.
That's a bit of a different story. That's actually a completely different story from what she says in interviews and stuff like that.
So I tried everything out there, super, super skeptical. I'm skeptical about anything and everything. That's just me. And I tried basically everything out there. And the only reason that I started doing this product was because I wanted to prove that it wouldn't work. That it wouldn't work, just like everything else out there. And so, that was kind of my intentions coming into it. I got started on the transformation kit. I lost my first 10 pounds my first 10 days. Went on to lose 35 pounds my first challenge and 20 pounds my second challenge. And now I'm on, I don't even know, like challenge 5 or 6 or something. But after losing that weight, my goal was to put on lean muscle, and now, losing that 55 pounds has helped me get to where I want to be right now, and I'm actually competing in my first figure competition in April. So I'm really, really excited about that. And
she tried VISALUS, she lost her weight on VISALUS, she stopped selling it at some point, and she started her own company. What are the details there? That is literally what I want to know, because she never talks about being in an MLM. She never does. I mean, you can find stuff. Her sales page is still up. You can't buy anything from it, but like the promo page is there. So it's like you got into this company, you had great results from the company, and for some reason you stopped working for them, you stopped being a distributor and started your own company. Are you taking the things that you learned when you were a distributor and bringing them with you into LadyBoss? Did you have a problem with something that happened in VISALUS, or an issue with their products? Did you realize they weren't great and now yours are way better because you didn't want them to be anything like the crap that you were using before? Do you still love the VISALUS products and you just figured you could make more money being the face of your own business? I don't know. That leaves so many questions unanswered. And something that makes this way more sketchy to me is the fact that in this video, which was posted in 2013, Kaelin's going to talk about how much money she makes with VISALUS, how incredible it's been for her, how much income she's getting. But then in 2014, you're barely able to afford groceries and all you have in savings is $1,000. I don't know. I don't know her life. I don't know what all happened, but it's just that things are not exactly adding up for me.
That Nick Sarnicola told me about how he, everybody was out partying and he was at his desk working because, he wanted to live a life that nobody else could once, he graduated and he was grown. He wanted to live a life that nobody else could. So the way I saw it was, yeah, I can live these 4 years like it's the best of my life, or I can work my butt off really, really hard right now during my senior year and, go to bed late, wake up early, and live the rest of my life the best of my life. So that's kind of the mentality that
It's interesting how already we have like the MLM Hunspeak in 2013. Like, it's gotten way worse over time, but even then, people just got sucked in by this idea that a multi-level marketing company was going to be the thing that changed their life if they put enough work into it. And honestly, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the fact that, if you start a side hustle or you start your own business, you're going to have to work those extra hours. You're going to have to give up some things. You might have to stay up late or wake up early or not go out with your friends. You're going to have to make sacrifice because good things come with effort. But it's just interesting to see it used to kind of suck people into a company that not a lot of people can succeed at. And I don't know if she knew it at this time. I think, multi-level marketing companies in this vein were very new at the time. I mean, my mom had friends in network marketing or multi-level marketing companies when I was growing up, but there was never, from her experience or what I saw, the pressure of like, you have to start selling Tupperware because it's going to change your life. It was just like, hey, come over, let's hang out and play some games and maybe you'll get a salad spinner like as a prize to take home. It's just very interesting. And again, Like, I don't know if she knew. I don't know if she knew how hard it was to succeed in these companies and how many people were going to lose money at the time, because in 2013, I definitely didn't have like the statistics or the facts or really a full understanding of the issues with multi-level marketing companies, but I remember being approached to join a multi-level marketing company and getting sold this same thing of like, this is going to change your life. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to travel. Like, we get to do business meetings in the backyard and hang out. That's what I was told. And I was like, something sounds off about this. No, thank you. But I did have a friend. This is kind of a side note. I had a friend who borrowed money from the person who recruited her to join. And I went to like meetings with her and just hung out. And literally, it wasn't even like, no business got done. Nobody was like, how are our sales numbers doing? Did you get any new clients? Did you get anybody to buy this energy drink? It was just like, we can all be rich. We're all gonna be millionaires. Let's have fun. So anyway, that was just my experience of being recruited for the first time, and that was back in 2013. So maybe she didn't have all the facts. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. Some people are just naturally skeptical, and some people are like, yeah, let's get it. Let's do this and jump in head first, like my friend. In any case, I just think the language is interesting because it's already using that tactic of like, join me so you can work your butt off now, but later we can live like nobody else.
I don't want to have to, be scheduled when I can go on vacation and when I can see my family and when I can hang out with my friends, and that I can only do stuff on the weekends, and, basically building someone else's dream. That I didn't want to do that.
That's what an MLM is, but it's 2013. I'm going to cut her some slack.
So, I went through my senior year. I, had a lot of sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices along the way, a lot of parties that I didn't go to, a lot of things that I missed out on with friends. But when I graduated, I was able to what we call retire. I basically retired at the age of 22 and now, work for myself. And upon graduation, I was making about $5,000 a month promoting the challenge. And I basically gave myself ultimatum. I said, okay, you have 3 months. You have 90 days. And you can see what you can do in those 90 days. And if you don't get it done, then you have to go get a corporate job. And gave myself that ultimatum. And, I really went to work, and our team, was amazing. And, everyone is one vision, one goal, working together. And 3 months later, actually hit the rank of 1-star ambassador, making me a 5-figure-a-month earner at the age of 22, which is super awesome. Obviously, a very big goal. And
okay, if that is true and she was making 5 figures per month, that is absolutely insane. I cannot imagine being 22 and making, at the minimum 10 grand per month. But 2, how do you go from making 5 figures per month to struggling to be able to afford groceries in less than a year? I get it, she's 22, she might have been done with her money, and maybe she's lying here. I don't know, but I guess this just goes back to the fact that, like, what is the truth? What is the full story?
I'm extremely proud of that. But what I'm more proud of is knowing that it's kind of helping other young people and other people see that they can do it too. It's possible. There's someone out there their age who is in the exact same situation as they are. When I got started, my mom forbid me to do this. She literally forbid me to do it. And, I accidentally shipped my ESS kit to my house instead of my dorm. And when she found out, she was really, really mad. Really, really, really mad. She'll actually tell you very, some colorful words if you ask her side of the story. So, but after, showing her what we could do with this, she was very intrigued and very interested. And now, it's caused her to be able to make a 6-figure income as her part-time job. She's
a 6-figure income as her part-time job.
Still works 60 hours a week.
And she still works 60 hours per week. I'm not going to go into this because it would all just be speculation and assumption, but tell me how you make 6 figures with a part-time job and still work 60 hours per week. Tell me how that's possible, how you choose that, how you choose to keep a job that makes you work 60 hours per week while making 6 figures a year. I don't know. If it's something that you're incredibly passionate about, maybe I could get it. I mean, it's like Christine from Simply Nailogical, who I don't know what she's getting into now, but when she was making YouTube videos regularly, she still had her full-time job and she was making a ton of money on YouTube. So I guess it's not unheard of. I just kind of feel like it's more of the exception rather than the rule. Because I can tell you right now, if I was making 6 figures per year, I would not be working 60 hours per week at a separate job, because time freedom is so important. If she was like that passionate about whatever it was she was doing, I'm sure she could have found a way to do it that wasn't 60 hours per week. I mean, I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't know the story. I don't know her job, but like that sounds like a lie to me. I'm not going to make you watch any more of the video because it's just essentially a continued pitch for VISALUS, but I hope that gives like just a really stark, clear example of the difference in stories that she's told at different points in her life. At the end of the day, if you like LadyBoss, if you like their products, you do you. Like, you're not spending my money. I don't care what you buy with it. But if you are a new customer or you're somebody who's questioning supporting the company, that just might be something to consider. The fact that she posted this video in 2013 saying how great it was, saying how great VISALUS was, and she loved it, and it's how she lost all her weight. You know, going from that to starting a new company a year later that has a lot of similar products and has some scammy marketing and maybe not the greatest customer service reputation. Just something to consider. Also, there is a particular comment I would like to respond to. This person left several comments on my video, making it abundantly clear that they did not like what I was saying. I won't read them all, but there was a point where I was like, where are these graphs coming from that have the information about how greens impacts your body, like the greens supplement? And they said the evidence you see for greens and other supplements are from their top scientists who actually conduct these studies. The site has all of the information for you. Did you read the entire site? And the answer is no, I didn't read the entire website. I'm not an expert on Kaelin or LadyBoss weight loss. The entire point of the video was for me to take a look at the website and just kind of have a first look evaluation and to notice if there are any things that raise red flags for me and seem off, and to point them out to help people be more educated consumers. So no, I did not read the entire site. But also, if the study was done by LadyBoss scientists or scientists who work for LadyBoss, I'm not inclined to trust the studies or the truthfulness of the findings. I mean, we hear about it all the time. It's so easy to skew scientific studies or to make them up entirely. They could be completely legitimate, but having your own product evaluated by employees of your company seems like it would be a bit of a conflict of interest, and you might not get the most unbiased results. Things might be a little bit skewed in LadyBoss's favor. But in any case, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Kaelin has this massive backstory that isn't being spoken about openly, and of course, it's people's right to share whatever they feel like sharing about their own life, but I just think it's a little bit misleading to run your own weight loss company to help people lose weight and tell your story one way when you can find other ways that the story has been told in the past, and when you don't speak openly about how you actually lost your weight. I wouldn't want to support a company whose founder operates that way. And as a little bit of a bonus, I'll give you some fun facts about VISALUS. They were sued in 2016. There was a federal lawsuit that alleged VISALUS was an illegal pyramid scheme. It was filed by 3 of their former distributors, and I'm assuming that this ended up getting settled because there's an article from the Detroit Free Press from 2016 that is like the most recent coverage on the story. I would assume if the distributors won the case or if VISALUS was found not guilty, there would probably be a follow-up news story. But if they settled, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't reported on in the same way that a conviction would be. So details about that are pretty murky. Essentially, they were just saying like, this is an illegal pyramid scheme. People are being sucked in by promises of insane profit. Like, you go to these company pep rallies and people are on stage holding $1 million checks and you get sucked in and misled. So a lot of problems with the way the company presents itself versus how it's actually run. And then additionally, their former director of security pled guilty in 2015 to conspiracy and aiding and abetting the accessing of a protected computer. According to the Detroit Free Press, a private investigator told authorities that Carlos Paciello is the former director of security. Paciello had hired him to gain access to computers used by employees of a Utah company called Ocean Avenue that VISALUS feared was recruiting away its own distributors. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation. And finally, last fun fact, one of the co-founders of VISALUS, Ryan Blair, authored a book called Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, How I Went from Gang Member to Multimillionaire Entrepreneur. And there's nothing deeper than that. It's literally just a fun fact because what a title. This book has 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon because of over 400 ratings, which is really interesting. I think a lot of times when scammers write books, people tend to leave pretty negative reviews because they realize they got scammed, but sounds like this book is pretty entertaining. And honestly, if he didn't literally start a company created to scam people, I'd probably end up reading it. But it is what it is. That's all I've got for y'all today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let me know if this changes your opinion on Kaelin, if it makes you a bit more skeptical, if it doesn't matter, if, I don't know, you don't even know who she is or you've never bought from her company. Let me know if you would ever buy something from a person who created their own company after finding success in an MLM, because I think that's a really interesting conversation altogether. I mean, it goes so deep, in my opinion, because it comes down to like moral and ethical choices, which I'm not even going to get on a tangent because I'll talk for another hour. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, and while you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you are subscribed already, thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.